Have you ever had someone come up to you and say, I can't wait to tell you what so and so said about you? If you have, stay tuned. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you are not new and you're coming back, welcome back. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you like things like and videos like this where we talk about real life day-to-day situations, things that you can do to help yourself live a better life with freedom. That's what we do here on this channel. We use yoga to get there. And I don't necessarily always mean the physical yoga, which there's a great benefit to that, but yoga off the mat is even more important. And today I want to talk to you about what happens if someone comes to you and is getting ready to tell you what someone else said about you to them. And there's a couple things that I want to review when it comes to this as well, when you should really pay attention to it and when you really shouldn't pay attention to it for your own strength, for your own happiness, and so that you can live a better life. Don't you want to be a happy person? Yeah, you do. If you don't want to be a happy person, you're probably on the wrong channel. But if you do want to be a happy person, stay tuned. So another niyama, we've talked about yamas and niyamas, and this is where my teaching comes from, is the ethical practice of yoga, which are the yamas and the niyamas. They're one of the limbs of yoga, and they teach you on a broad scale how dynamic the practice of yoga really is. If someone comes to you and says, guess what your sister told me about you? She said that you're getting a divorce. I just can't believe she would ever have shared that with me. That is your private business. Has that ever happened to you? Hey, guess what? I can't wait to tell you what Susie coworker said about you. Oh my goodness. She has said the most nasty things about you. She's going to be going to HR. Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. The first thing that I want you to think about with this, first thing, is where is this coming from? Who is telling you this? Because if someone is bringing that to your attention, that person who is bringing it to your attention, you may need to do a cost-benefit analysis on your relationship with the person who's bringing that to you. And if you want to know more about cost-benefit analysis, I have videos about confrontation and a whole series that I'll link below for you. But I do want to let you know that it is very important to, when someone's coming to you to tell you that someone has said something about you, that you should really think for a moment about that person and why they're doing that, or what your relationship with that person is as they're coming to you. Let me also say this. If this is a situation that someone is telling you something that could impact your safety or your business, that's a different story. So for example, if someone comes at you to tell you that there is a threat happening or there's something that physically could happen, that's of course something you should pay attention to. Also, if someone is in your business that is disrupting your business flow and is causing concern for your customers, your clients, causing revenue to be driven away. I've seen this over and over and over and over again in businesses that I've worked in. If that's happening, that's a different story as well. That has to be addressed. But if it's just idle gossip, like guess what so-and-so said about your marriage, or as I mentioned before about the divorce, the first thing is to always consider the source. The second thing to think about with this is, should you stop the person from continuing, or should you let them talk? That's going to be up to you. Because I have found personally that if I let the person continue, that can trigger me. Especially if it's someone who you do not have a good the person who's coming to you is going to tell you something about someone else that you do not have a good relationship with, or maybe you had a relationship and you don't anymore. Maybe you don't want to know about it. I find that honestly is the most effective thing anymore, as I don't want to know about it. I don't care to know about it. So somebody comes and says, guess what? Someone from 10 years ago that you broke up with, Justin, said this about you. I will say, stop right there. Don't go on any further, because I don't want to know. And I honestly don't know how much I can trust you because you want to tell me something that someone else said. Because again, unless it's a safety issue or they work for me, I don't want to know about it. I don't care. What does it have? What is it going to do for you? What purpose will it serve for you if you knew that? None. It serves no purpose, right? Conversations that happen when you're not around are not for your ears. It is okay to have a close group of people that you associate yourself with, that you can speak to honestly. We all work through problems with other people. There may be people in your life who you speak to on a personal level about another situation that you're dealing with. That doesn't mean that whoever else is in that situation needs to know everything, because you need to work through that. You may not be able to work through it on your own. Maybe you need to work through it with a therapist, and you tell your therapist that. But we often have friends that are like therapists who have an unspoken rule of confidentiality. And when you say, hey, I feel like Joe over here has really hurt me because, he said XYZ and I don't know what to make of this. You might have to talk through that with someone else before you interact with Joe, so that when you interact with Joe, you're not interacting from a place of anger anymore. You've worked through what you needed to work through with the other person, who should not go to Joe and say, guess what? So-and-so said about you. See, because what's not meant for your ears when you're not around is not meant for you to hear. Same goes with text messages, voicemails, emails, any of the like. Because if the person wants to tell you something, they need to tell you. You don't need to go around the bush. Surrender to it doesn't matter. What matters is what's right in front of you. Right in front of you. What's happening right now. Not what happened, what everybody else is talking about. That has nothing to do with anything. It's all about what's happening right now. And the more you practice that, the more you practice when someone comes up to you and says, guess what? Guess what so-and-so said? Stop. Don't continue. Do not continue. Because what they're going to say to you is not going to make you feel really great, will it? It's going to trigger you. It's going to trigger your anxiety. Why would you want to trigger your own anxiety? You will be able to figure out if someone is not meant to be in your life on your own. You don't need other people to tell you that. All you have to do is watch someone else's behavior. That's it. You watch behavior patterns. If someone's behavioral pattern does not change, I've had people over the past couple years who I've said, please stop doing this, please stop doing this, and then they do it again, do it again, do it again. Or I say, I don't appreciate that happening, and then they do it again. Those people have to be now at arm's length, because their behavior patterns show me that they're not interested in me or my boundaries. They're interested in their own. That's what I didn't learn about that from someone else telling me about it. You have to learn about it on your own. That's the key. That's the key to surrender. Learn about it on your own. Just watch. Listening to conversations that have nothing to do with you serves no purpose. So this notion of, if you're my true friend, you'd never talk to anyone else about me. That's a bunch of baloney. And here's why it's a bunch of baloney. Because sometimes you need to have conversations with a professional or a trusted family member or a trusted friend about someone else, so you can work through the problem or whatever you're feeling. It's about you, not them, you. So that you can interact with them with your love, with your self-love and your confidence. Go back to the confrontation series. Rewatch the confrontation series if you need to determine, should I talk to this person? Should I not talk to this person? These are all great keys to be looking at. And again, if someone comes to you and starts asking you a question like, do you want me to tell you? You may want to say, no, I don't want to. Surrender that. You don't have time for that. You're trying to build a life, aren't you? Aren't you trying to build a life that's full of happiness and joy? You're not going to get happiness and joy by engaging in gossip. And again, I will repeat, if it has to do with safety or a business, that's different. But if it has to do with just idle gossip, it's not worth it. If you like videos like this, if you want more, if you've had an experience like this, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Help this community grow by liking the channel, subscribing to the channel, and I will see you on our next video.